How are
Benson.
you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, come right in.
Thank you so much. We would love to hopefully just get a little tour of your shop.
Absolutely. Come on in. This is where I'm doing most of my layout work. So the front desk is where I'm doing a lot of my drawing. And here are layouts of various and sundry stones.
All you do is brush lettering.
That's the legacy that is the John Stevens shop. So my grandfather picked up the brush in the 1920s, 30s. He sort of interpreted the classical Roman brush form in his own way. Sort of when he died, passed that along to my dad, who spun his own interpretation of that classical form. Both my grandfather and my father reached quite highs within our strange little world, and I've sort of taken it on and limped along in my own.
Oh, yeah.
Not quite so.
Yes, I see the limping. Yeah.
Not quite so auspicious capabilities, but this place was built in about the very early 19th century. John Stevens set up this business over there across the street in 1705.
Oh, right. That's right.
So that's where it began.
Okay.
And then the first three Stevens worked there, and then they moved over here and sort of occupied this place around 1810.
Okay.
And it's been running as a stone shop here since 1810, but the greater business is all sort of the John Stevens shop back to 1705.
Absolutely.
So that's the deal.
Absolutely. One of the interesting things we've been talking about is actually we are involved in a craft from an old world kind of way. And I was talking about, some of the things I'm bringing into the memorial arts or my art or any art that's stemming from what I'm doing with my carving.
Sure.
And that always leads me directly to what you've been recently exploring.
Yes.
And experimenting and expanding. And do you mind if we kind of look at it?
No, absolutely. So I was typing away on my computer. I use the computer for a lot of design stuff, but I was typing away and the computer glitched and up popped a big body of text.
Is that how it started?
That's how it started.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so up it pops, and
Oh
I
my
look at
God.
this thing, having spent my entire life designing bodies of text. I look at this thing, and immediately it's like, oh, well, this is ripping aside the curtain, and here is the computer brain behind it. So this is some of that work.
Oh,
So
my goodness.
at one point I was, I'm still working on these. I'm doing a whole series of portraits that are very, very small photos of people. This one happens to be a self-portrait. And then when you take this photo and you encode it into an algorithmic coding system called Base 64, you wind up with a thread of code.
Okay.
And that thread of code is this portrait. So then I take that thread of code and I'll do calligraphic interpretations of that code. Here's a little piece that I did not long ago. That is an encoded word, and the word is information because the word information is so loaded these days in terms of its digital interpretation that it's a word that I thought was great to balance against the ridiculously old craft and information of the moment. Yeah, so this is a very, very large portrait that's going to be 22 pieces. This one is just you can see the rough outline.
Yes.
Of the transfer, and I've just begun carving it, trying to figure out how I'm going to attack it all. But there are 22 of these panels, and this is a self-portrait of me. So, of course, where I'm going to find the time to do that is going to be colorful.
Now, and you guys predominantly work in slate, but also, or how would you rate your style
I'd say
profile?
that sort of 60 to 70% of what we do is slate,
Okay.
and then 25% is granite,
Okay.
and then the marbles fall down on the lower scale. But in terms of architectural carving, that's a whole other beast, and that is whatever the material may be. Either, on the case of the World War II memorial, it was Kershaw granite. The Martin Luther King memorial, it was Atlantic green granite, and this recent Eisenhower memorial, it was all this ambar limestone from Spain.
Okay. Oh, now we go into the draped green velvet room.
So in back here we have Paul Rousseau carving away.
Okay.
So my grandfather put in this rail system for the hoist, which runs around the entire shop,
Oh my goodness.
which is really, really wonderful.
Yes.
My dad put it back up in '79 after he rebuilt the whole place.
But I like how it goes right on out to
Goes right out to the truck, yeah.
So, I mean, it's all about the safety and the moving of these stones too.
Very, very handy.
Super important.
Yep.
Absolutely paramount.
Absolutely.
Nice light coming in.
Yeah, so we've got some nice light, and
More, I mean,
here's some more headstone work. You know, working away there.
absolutely.
And then here's my daughter Hope, who's learning how to carve herself. So she's working away on a piece that she designed, and a client is actually having a second one of these panels cut for a colleague of his,
Really?
Yeah,
which is really fun.
it's cool.
So Hope's gotten commission work directly with these guys.
That's awesome. How long have you been doing this? Hope?
2 years?
Really?
Maybe 2 and a half.
About two, a
Calendar.
little off and on.
Yeah, off and on. Maybe 1 if we're like gonna squish all the time together.
Yes.
About 1 year maybe.
Wow. Now, how does it feel to be standing here under this beautiful portrait of your
Great grandfather.
great grandfather? And it's just so enjoyable for me to
Yeah.
stand here and see this happen. So
Kind of beautiful.
So there is her grandfather, great grandfather, holding the mallet chisel as Hope uses the mallet chisel to cut.
It is really cool.
It is cool.
Yeah.
It's a really, really nice lineage.
Thank you for letting us come in and capture that.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure, please, my absolute pleasure. Wow,
So-
this is always nice areas.
Yeah, and here's another piece above the sink here that is me trying to figure out how to deconstruct the letter form to head in the artistic directions. You know, as we carvers who are dealing with very, very precise letter forms day in and day out that are following really, really, really well-worn traditions of development, and be it Roman or italic or whatever it is. This is a means of me trying to let loose as much as I possibly can, so that then I can find my own expressive voice within the calligraphic form,
Absolutely.
which is really an enjoyable process.
The texture on that is just, it's absolutely.
Thanks a lot.
It's just stunning.
Thanks.
Of course, absolutely stunning.
So, and then here's some architectural samples. We'll put these together for architects on big
course.
jobs. So this is one that my father did for the FDR Memorial in Washington D.C. And these are various and sundry other little architectural jobs.
And I think I remember talking to you, employ sometimes a hybrid, sandblasted,
Sometimes we do
chisel to
combo.
finish termination points.
Yep.
Okay.
And this one's really cool because this is a great example of the difference between V-cutting and sandblasting. So
Absolutely.
here's your V-cut on the left and your
Yep.
sandblast on the right.
Not many people are very aware of that.
No, they are not.
No, they're not. So thank you. How long have you been coming here? I mean, I have to ask your daughter that, so
I'm 40 years into it.
40 years into it.
Isn't that insane?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's not insane.
79 is when I started my apprenticeship in 1979.
Wow.
So it's been a while.
A little bit of
It's been
time.
a bit of a haul. You know?
Well, you know what? I really can't thank you for your time.
Thanks for coming
I
by.
can't thank you enough. I was
It's
going to give you
awesome.
a big hug. I
No,
won't.
it's horrible.
Soon.
COVID
maybe.
lifestyle.
If not, but no, thank you all for letting us come on.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming in.
My pleasure, and thank you for letting us share this with the world.
You're very, very welcome.